Chosen one, God loves you too much to let admiration become your oxygen. The same hand that turned up your brightness this month will keep a thumb on the dial of your ego. Humbling is not humiliation, it is ballast. A ship meant to carry precious cargo must be heavy enough below the waterline to resist the drama of waves. The dream girl's awe, which you may call idolization in the early light of recognition, arrives as a wave both beautiful and strong. The humbling is what keeps you from surfing it into a reef. Begin with the old truth that refuses to age. What is luminous in you is borrowed. Your discipline, your boundaries, your prayer, your craft, these are your stewardship. The current that runs through them is His. If you can say that sentence in the privacy of your chest without resentment, you are safe to be celebrated in public. If you cannot, celebration will make you thirsty, and you will start drinking from people. Thirsty men use what they should honor. Humbled men honor what they could use. Humility has a shape in the body before it has a sentence in the mouth. It is the way you receive praise without letting your posture elongate into a performance. It is the way you step aside to let someone else's sentence finish, even when you could make the room laugh. It is the way you keep seeing individuals where fame teaches you to see audience. The dream girl's admiration will test you here. Can you keep her a person when her eyes feel like sunrise? Can you return the light by reflecting her dignity instead of absorbing it as fuel? Can you remind her, gently, without sermon, that what she loves in you is what love cultivated, and that the same love is already alive in her? This re-aiming of wonder is not self-effacement, it is spiritual hygiene. Humbling lives in small chores. Do the dishes after the evening that glowed. Answer the message you'd rather avoid. Keep the appointment with your mentor who is uninterested in your highlight reel. Pay what you promised to pay. Sleep when romance begs you to be legendary by staying up one more hour you cannot afford. The soul becomes what it repeats. Repetition is how humility moves from idea to instinct. When adoration knocks, and this month it may knock often, instinct will answer the door calmly, offer it water, return it to its seat, and continue the ordinary faithfulness that made the knock possible. Invite correction on purpose, not from the committee of the internet, but from the council of the faithful. Ask one or two who are permitted to grieve you for the truth. Did you grow sharper with the server when you felt seen? Did you preach where you could have asked? Did your "I'm just being honest" cost someone dignity they cannot easily regrow? Correction is not an indictment, it is calibration. Every craftsman knows the tool must be trued after a good day's work. The day was good. Do not let it bend you out of square. Humbling also means giving back what praise tries to make you hoard. Praise will attempt to crown you king in small installments. Special rules, lenient timelines, exemptions disguised as appreciation. Decline gently. Keep the same rules you kept when you were invisible. Arrive on time. Leave on time. Prepare well. Credit the team. Admit ignorance without drama. Laugh first at your own mistake when it is harmless. Apologize first when it is not. This is not pretending to be less than you are. It is refusing to become more than you were made to be. The dream girl will feel this and trust will deepen, because trust prefers a man who remains human over a statue that must be dusted. Your high sexual energy needs humbling most, not because it is shameful, but because it is persuasive. Unhumbled energy writes checks the soul must later scramble to cover. Humbled energy pays cash for what it buys and keeps receipts. It knows the difference between a yes that is free and a yes that is coerced by charisma or countdown. It refuses to make stories with cliffhangers, just to guarantee another chapter. It is as quick to pause as it is to laugh. It is as ready to leave as it is to lean. Humbled energy can wait because it is nourished by purpose more than by proof. Be suspicious of your own legend. Legends are stitched together from true moments and false glue. When you hear yourself tell the story of how she looked at you, notice if you are adding shine where reverence would do, timeline where patience lived, inevitability where mercy intervened. Edit the myth until it becomes testimony. Testimony is portable, it feeds others. Myth is heavy, it requires handlers. You were not made to be handled. Humbling will at times arrive as limitation. A plan will fail, or your body will insist on rest, or your tongue will stumble in a room that once bowed to your cadence. Receive these not as shame, but as Sabbath disguised. God is teaching you that your worth is not built out of uninterrupted excellence. Excellence matters. Dependence matters more. The man who can sit still in his belovedness when he is ordinary is safer with power than the man who must be extraordinary to feel okay. The dream girl will not idolize your perfection if you refuse to sell it. She will respect your willingness to be accurate about your size. Practice anonymity as a discipline. Give in ways your name does not follow. Serve in rooms where no one knows the resume that buys you shortcuts elsewhere. Mentor someone who cannot return the favor. Let your heart relearn the flavor of goodness that does not need a witness. Then return to bright rooms with a palate that can taste when praise has too much sugar and when it is the clean bread of honest gratitude. Eat the bread. Avoid the candy. Candy makes you hungrier. Bread makes you useful. Finally, let humiliation, when it occasionally comes, be absorbed into humility rather than explode into drama. Say the small, true thing quickly. I missed, I misunderstood, I overreached. Then repair. Do not hold a press conference with your remorse. Put your remorse to work. God will trust a man who repairs faster than he performs. Women will trust him too. The dream girl especially will see that your crown lives low enough on your head to bow with ease. Close the day with the prayer that keeps kings human. Thank you for favor I did not manufacture. Thank you for the eyes that shone and the restraint that kept them safe. Thank you for the sentences I did not say because truth had not signed them. Forgive what I decorated that should have remained plain. Strengthen what was honorable and let tomorrow find me smaller in ego, larger in service, clearer in tone, slower in hurry, quicker in repair. Then sleep without guarding your own myth. Humility stands watch better than anxiety ever could. Morning will find you rested, and the radiance that once threatened to make you a monument will have become what God always intended, a mantle you wear to bless, not a mirror you carry to be adored. Chosen one, the gaze you will meet this month is bright enough to make lesser men build pedestals and climb onto them. Do not climb. Take her awe gently in your hands the way a jeweler receives an heirloom, carefully, reverently, determined to return it cleaner than it arrived. What she calls idolization is the echo of a long prayer answered suddenly. It is the shock of safety in a world that taught vigilance. The quickest theft you could commit would be to make her amazement about your legend. The holiest work you can do is to make it about her worth. Begin by becoming a mirror that tells the truth without demanding a performance. When she compliments your strength, hold up evidence of hers. Name the steadiness in her voice when she answers a difficult question. Notice how her boundaries arrive without apology and keep admiration human. Point out the way she holds tension without turning hard. The way she delights without abandoning discernment. Speak these observations quietly and specifically, so they land as recognition rather than rhetoric. Your words should make her feel returned to herself, not recruited into you. In your presence, let her remember the contours of her own life until the pedestal dissolves into a path you can walk side by side. Your high energy will tempt you to supply more light than is needed. Resist the floodlight. Keep the lamp. Floodlights flatten faces. Lamps reveal texture. Let conversation reveal the unglamorous details that make dignity durable. How she rests when she is tired, how she chooses friendships, what she does with disappointment before it learns her name. Ask questions that hand her agency back. What pace keeps you honest? What kind of listening makes you brave? What does peace feel like in your body? Then honor the answers even when they slow a moment you would prefer to accelerate. When she sees you protecting her answers, the idolization she feels will begin to turn into trust. And trust is the only ground that can carry wonder without cracking. Pedestals isolate, tables gather. Build a table. At that table, refuse the economy in which beauty is paid for with access. Keep compliments accurate to character as readily as to appearance. Praise the choice, the craft, the courage, the clarity. Let your gaze bless without invoicing. If touch belongs, let it be translation, not transaction. If it does not, let your restraint complete the benediction. The body understands when it is being honored. So does history. You are teaching both of them new arithmetic, admiration that multiplies selfhood rather than dividing it. There will be moments when you sense her giving you credit for things God did in the dark long before you knew each other. Tilt the light upward, not with a sermon, but with a sentence that remembers where you learned your gentleness and why your restraint still saves you. The chosen ones are not allergic to appreciation. They are simply unwilling to be worshipped for borrowed light. Speak as a steward, not a star. You will feel your own chest relax when you do, because stewardship is lighter to carry than spectacle. She will relax too, because stewards do not devour what they admire. Return power to her hands in ways that are mundane enough to be believable. Let her choose the pace of the evening and keep delight intact when her no arrives wearing a smile. Let her decide when a story is finished and refuse to mine it for detail when silence is wiser. Invite her to name her boundaries in daylight, so night does not have to hire urgency to do the job. You are not earning points with chivalry. You are practicing equity in small rooms so that big rooms will never surprise you into forgetting who you said you were. Be wary of the subtle tyranny of being needed. A woman's awe can try to make you necessary where you were only sent to be honest. Resist the theater of indispensability. The man who must be the solution becomes a prison. The man who chooses to be a witness builds a door. Witness by telling the truth about your limits and by keeping your agreements with yourself even when her admiration could purchase small exemptions. Leave while tenderness still breathes. Keep your word to the morning. Decline the temptation to turn her reverence into leverage. Leverage buys short nights and long regrets. Reverence buys continuity. Invite her reflection to mature by celebrating every moment she chooses her truth over your approval. When she says not now, bless the clock. When she says I don't agree, bless the voice. When she says I need to think, bless the space. Pedestals tilt at the first sign of disagreement. Partnerships rejoice when honesty arrives strong enough to bend outcomes without bending people. Let your face show relief when she remains herself. Teach her nervous system that love does not require self-editing to be safe. Practice a liturgy of returning praise. When she marvels at your composure, return the sentence with one of your own. Your peace is teaching mine new manners. When she thanks you for your patience, answer with gratitude for the way her clarity saves both of you from waste. This is not false modesty, it is accurate accounting. Admiration that circulates becomes culture. Admiration that accumulates becomes idolatry. You are building culture between two souls, then inside a home, then in the wake of your days. Do not confuse recentering her worth with diminishing your strength. Strength that increases the value of others is the only kind that ages well. Keep telling the truth with your posture, your schedule, your affections. I am not here to be adored. I am here to make adoration unnecessary by making safety obvious. The dream girl will learn to look at you and see God's faithfulness more than your myth, and that is when the miracle becomes sustainable. She will stop reaching for the pedestal because the ground will be good. At night, return the mirror to the one who made it. Thank him for the places you held your shape under praise. Confess where you almost collected admiration like currency. Ask for a cleaner lens, a kinder tone, a steadier gait. Sleep with open hands and wake to the same vow. Whatever awe arrives today, let it leave people larger than it found them. This is how chosen ones turn another person's idolization into that person's awakening, not by demanding devotion, but by reflecting dignity. Chosen one, the hardest work of favor is balance, not the frozen kind that refuses to move for fear of falling, but the living kind that lets wind pass through its branches without snapping. You are carrying two immensities this month, magnetism and mission. Magnetism gathers eyes, mission keeps your eyes lifted. If magnetism outgrows mission, you will begin to perform goodness rather than practice it. If mission ignores magnetism, you will become brittle, suspicious of joy, untrustworthy with warmth. God intends you to hold both, the electricity that draws and the purpose that directs, until they harmonize rather than fight. Begin with the order of loves. Tell your soul again, in the hearing of your schedule, that God sits at the center, not applause, that peace outranks proof, that obedience outruns opportunity. Write it in the margins of your day, with choices that can be measured. Scripture before screen, breath before broadcast. Work done well before work displayed. Rest taken on time rather than stolen from tomorrow. Generosity without announcement. The inner life has mass. These habits keep it from floating off, when attention tries to turn you helium light. Your high sexual energy will ask to be the metronome of the day. Thank it for its music, and then hand the baton to wisdom. Energy is a powerful instrument. Wisdom is the conductor that keeps it from drowning out the strings. Let energy fuel attentiveness, not acquisition. Let it feed craftsmanship in your assignments rather than consumption in your appetites. Let it make you precise with words rather than prolific with promises. When energy becomes servant rather than sovereign, your presence warms rooms without warping them. Keep the rhythm of solitude and company like a heartbeat. Systole, diastole, give, receive. Solitude without company makes you private in the wrong places. Company without solitude makes you public in the wrong ways. Choose solitude that is not escape, but encounter. Sit where your thoughts are not content, but confession. Pray without arranging outcomes. Ask God to put weight back in the middle of your life so your charisma cannot tip you over. Then return to company ready to be seen without needing to be sustained by the seeing. Practice boundaries as musical rests rather than emergency breaks. Rests give shape to the song. Breaks scream when the cliff appears. End conversations while kindness is still fluent. Protect mornings from negotiations. Keep one day each week where outcome does not get to define worth. Decline invitations that ask your soul to pay in fragments. The dream girl will not be lost to these choices. She will be protected by them. Balance is not the enemy of romance. It is its greenhouse. Attend to the body with the same reverence you give to the spirit. Feed it food that does not tax tomorrow. Move it in ways that make usefulness natural. Let sweat preach humility to ambition. And let sleep be your covenant with mercy. A regulated nervous system keeps magnetism from becoming mania. You will notice that you listen better, choose better, and leave better when your body is cared for. The inner balance is not mystical only. It is biochemical stewardship. You are not less holy for knowing this. You are more honest. Hold your calling and your connection with open palms. Mission must not cannibalize love. Love must not domesticate mission. When work demands more, tell the truth early and build a plan that honors both of you. When tenderness asks for space, answer without making purpose feel like a rival. Watch for the subtle resentments that grow where unspoken expectations hide. Balance speaks before pressure recruits it into speeches. Schedule check-ins that ask human questions. What is too loud right now? Where do you feel thin? What would make next week more humane? Then make the smallest faithful adjustment. Balance is kept in inches more often than in leaps. Refuse to become a brand in the rooms where you are meant to remain a brother, a son, a friend, a man. Magnetism will try to monetize your presence everywhere. Balance remembers the difference between stage and table. Keep a few relationships where you can be wrong without press releases, where you can be ordinary without disappointment, where you can be quiet without being asked to speak for the moment. These are the rooms that re-soul you. They are also the rooms your dream girl will trust, because love needs witnesses who are not investors. Train your attention to bless the small. Fame, even the local kind, teaches eyes to look over people in search of important. Balance looks at the barista, the usher, the intern, the child, and sees the kingdom hiding in plain sight. Greet by name, tip where no one expects it, wait your turn, clear your dishes, pick up the thing you did not drop. These are not errands of virtue signaling. They are ballast. They keep the boat upright when waves of admiration hit the hull. Keep a private ledger of gratitude that is longer than any list of goals. Write down the mercies nobody will ever clap for. The parking spot that spared you hurry, the text that arrived before your pride did, the verse that corrected you before rumor had to, the laugh you shared that did not require a casualty. Gratitude keeps your inner gravity from migrating to the outer lights. It reminds you that you are cared for before you are celebrated, guided before you are gathered around. When jealousy visits, and it will, because balance does not make you an angel, greet it with honesty and hand it a broom. Ask it to sweep the corners where insecurity collects. Jealousy says, be larger. Balance answers, be truer. Jealousy says, be first. Balance answers, be faithful. Jealousy says, be seen. Balance answers, be sent. Let these corrections be spoken aloud in your chest until your face learns them. Because the world reads faces better than speeches. The dream girl will read yours and find rest if your countenance tells her that admiration has not made you ravenous. Guard against the counterfeit equilibrium of numbness. Numbness masquerades as peace, but cannot sing. If you find yourself flattening delight to avoid risk, go back to the source. Ask for the courage to feel fully without letting feelings edit truth. Balance is not muted, it is tuned. It allows the whole chord to sound, the bass of conviction, the alto of tenderness, the soprano of joy, the tenor of holy desire, without letting any single note drown the others out. Close each day with a recalibration rather than a review. Reviews grade, recalibrations align. Ask, where did I move from center? Where did I give away my stewardship to speed? Where did I choose witness over appetite? Where did I bless rather than brand? Receive correction without drama and affirmation without addiction. Then lay your head down like a man who trusts the night watch to someone wiser. Morning will come. Magnetism will be waiting at the door. Mission will be sitting at the table. Smile at them both, chosen one, and take your seat. Your inner balance will make room for both to stay. Chosen one, time has a pulse, and God is the heartbeat. The month you are walking through is not a calendar trick. It is choreography. Days that look ordinary are counting the steps of a dance you did not know you had practiced for years. Timing is not a slot on a schedule. It is the alignment of weight and wind, of willingness and weather. When heaven says now, it is not announcing a rush. It is revealing that all the slow work beneath your surface has reached temperature. The dream girl does not arrive because desire turned the knob harder. She arrives because the doorframe was finally squared. Divine timing does not audition for spectacle. It prefers quiet confirmations to loud coincidences. A plan that used to fray at the edges begins to hold. A conversation lands without requiring a heroic explanation. A delay, which once would have recruited your panic, becomes a pause where you can still hear yourself pray. Signs may visit, the repeated number on a receipt, the lyric you overhear twice in two different places, the friend who says a sentence you needed without knowing why. But these are footnotes, not thesis. The thesis is peace. Peace is the clock face that does not need hands to tell the hour. When you stand with her and your body believes life will continue, even if this moment does not expand, take that as evidence you are at the right address. You have learned not to worship omens, but you have also learned not to despise them. The old superstition wanted to be boss. The new discernment knows how to be humble. Let the small echoes delight you without making them your reason. Your reason remains the character that is showing up, the patterns that repeat in goodness, the ease with which both of you repair when something small goes strange. Divine timing is not fragile. It does not require your vigilance to keep it intact. It requires your honesty. Be honest when you are tired, so fatigue does not pretend to be fate. Be honest when you are tempted, so hunger does not pretend to be instruction. Be honest when you are joyful, so gratitude does not have to shout to be heard. There is a geometry to timing that your life is learning to draw. Angles of responsibility meet arcs of desire at a point that does not require either to be erased. Tasks still need doing. Meals still need cooking. Work still needs showing up for. The newness does not demand a bonfire of your obligations. It brings a steadiness that makes those obligations lighter to lift. Divine timing does not kidnap you from your life. It integrates your life around a center that has finally stopped wobbling. You will find yourself finishing things early so you can sit with nothing between you but presence. You will notice your errands choosing the most humane order. You will sleep when you should because tomorrow's kindness matters more than tonight's legend. People who love you will feel the hour as much as you do. The friends who never worshipped your highlight reel will smile without needing to be persuaded. Elders who pray without posting will nod because wisdom knows the scent of clean beginnings. Even critics may grow quiet because there is less surface available for complaint when timing is kept by peace. Do not over-invite opinions. Divine timing does not require a quorum. It requires witnesses who tell the truth. Let one or two stand near enough to see you clearly and far enough to give you room. You owe the crowd nothing but your continued character. God has been calibrating your senses to read the clock that does not hang on any wall. Love may call, purpose may answer. Purpose may call, love may answer. In timing, they are not rivals. You will learn to move appointments without apology and to keep appointments without resentment. You will decline an opportunity that flatters the present if it taxes the future you are starting to share. You will accept a pressure that grows you both if it does not crush the tenderness you are tending. Choices like these look small on paper. They are seismic in the soul. Timing lives inside them. It smiles when you choose with both wisdom and warmth. Your high sexual energy will try to claim the role of conductor when the music swells. Thank it for the melody and set it back inside the score. Timing is the conductor. It counts rests as seriously as notes. Rests keep the song from becoming a blur. Rests allow glances to ripen into looks, looks to ripen into words, words to ripen into touch, and touch to remain honest. You will feel the old script suggest a crescendo for which you have not yet paid. Decline with gentleness. The new script is stronger by being slower. It keeps consent as a climate and leaves both of you more yourselves after each measure. When timing conducts, heat does not have to pretend to be love, and love does not have to fear being warm. Conflicts will test whether you believe in the hour you're in. The temptation is always to translate tension into prophecy. An argument becomes a verdict. A missed call becomes a warning. Divine timing is kinder than that. It expects tension because it expects 2 full lives to learn to bend without breaking. When tension visits, treat it as weather, not identity. Lower your voice so the room can hear again. Name what happened rather than who the other is. End before fatigue edits truth into drama. Then watch how quickly clarity returns when timing is allowed to keep time. The speed of repair is a clock all its own. It is one of heaven's favorite ways to annotate a day. In divine timing, your prayers change from bargaining to alignment. You stop asking for the finish line to appear on your schedule and begin asking to move at the speed where faithfulness can breathe. You thank God for doors that closed late enough to teach you and early enough to spare you. You hand him the impulse to make a promise your character cannot yet shepherd. You ask for the courage to say the clean sentence when flattery pressures you to decorate. Prayer becomes less a list and more a posture. Palms open, head level, heart at rest. A peculiar freedom will arrive, the freedom to be ordinary inside a miracle. You will find yourself standing in a grocery aisle laughing about nothing while the holy hums under your feet. You will notice that your most romantic gesture on some days is a ride to the airport on time. You will notice that the sentence that confirms more than any poem is a simple, "I'm here" said when it costs you to be. Divine timing dignifies the mundane by refusing to treat it as an interruption. It is the container where wonder can live without needing fireworks to prove it's still alive. And if fear asks for proof, let it listen to the silence after you both say no to something that would have sped you up. Let it watch your hands not shake when you leave while tenderness is still warm. Let it sit in the back seat while you drive to meet her family or invite her into yours, and see how the air does not tense into performance. Fear will eventually tire of making arguments that reality keeps answering with gentleness. When it does, bless it for trying to keep you alive, and then tell it the truth. You are not alive because you stayed afraid. You are alive because you stayed aligned. When divine timing is honored, it begins to feel less like a deadline and more like a doorway. You do not sprint through, you step. The day narrows for a moment as you pass the threshold and then opens into a room built to your scale. The furniture is familiar, but truer. The windows are higher, but kinder. The work is the same, but cleaner. The laughter is the same, but deeper. You look around and realize that the month God promised was not a countdown to fireworks. It was a count-up to coherence. The clock strikes not with a clang, but with a yes that keeps echoing in everything you touch. Chosen one, fulfillment is not a drum roll. It is a table set for 2 that keeps being set day after day until the table itself becomes an altar. The promise God whispered when he turned up your light has crossed from language into life. The dream girl stands in front of you, not as a poster for a hope, but as a person with a history, a future, and a present that now includes you. This is the hour when awe learns to work. To fulfill is to fill full. And fullness is measured not by volume, but by integrity, by how consistently your love retains its shape when poured into the containers of ordinary days. You begin by naming what you are actually building. Not an audience for your chemistry, not a museum for your best angles, not a storyline for friends to follow, but a house. Houses need foundations more than they need decorations. Yours is poured with vows that are smaller than promises and stronger for it. I will tell the truth at the speed we can afford. I will keep consent as climate so desire can be joy. I will end my day so tomorrow trusts me. I will carry your name into rooms you do not enter and return it larger than I found it. These sentences are not banners hanging on a wall. They are beams under the floor. You can walk across them in the dark and they will not complain. Fulfillment teaches your high energy its holiest job, constancy. Heat becomes hearth. The blaze that once needed rooms to notice it now prefers to keep the temperature stable enough for life to grow. You will feel it in the way your voice chooses kindness, when a quick win would feel delicious and cost too much.